Thank you very much, Pastor Madonna. I hope everyone can hear me and I hope you can see my screen as well. Some of you already saw my face, so this is my face. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again so you can see the presentation. Today we're going to talk about learning digitally, and we'll talk about a few things that maybe some of you are already familiar with, and we'll also talk about some things that not everyone is familiar with, and we'll put it all together to see how the internet and the World Wide Web can be useful to us. If at any point I am becoming confusing, you can raise your hand and Pastor Madonna will let you ask a question or ask for clarification. I hope that's okay. You can just wave if that's okay. All right. So we'll start at the beginning and ask ourselves an interesting question. What is the internet? Now, I would have loved more interaction, but because of the nature of our class, we may not be able to have as much interaction, but we'll work out the best that we can. So what is the internet? You can think of it like this. You have a computer, you have a computer in your home. You have, if you go to an office, you have a computer. In the church, we have computers. And if you put several computers together and wire them together, you create something we call a computer network. You create a computer network just by doing that. And what happens within a computer network is that the computers are able to talk to each other. They are able to send information to each other in that computer network. They can exchange information using those physical connections or cables, and they also exchange information using something called protocols. Remember when Pastor Madonna started, she talked about the protocols of this session that we are in. That means how we agree to interact, how we agree to behave in this session. So computers also have things called protocols. That means one computer agrees with the other computer and says, look, when I send you packet 1, it's something called packet, or when I send you the first bit of information, you have to tell me that you have received it and that you're waiting for the next bit of information. That is something called send, acknowledge, send, or send, acknowledge, respond. I mean, it's a protocol. They agree, the computers agree that when we send information to each other, this is how we are going to do it. So they do that sending through the networks. The network might be cables, there might be something called fiber, there might be wireless. I'm sure some of you have heard of these things before. So those are the physical connections they have, and they have software and protocols by which they communicate. Now, when we take many networks and put them all together, you take a network from Christ Temple. You know, there are computers in Christ Temple. How many of you know that? Raise your hand. We have computers in Christ Temple. And you go to computers in EcoBank. Who has seen EcoBank building? And has anyone seen EcoBank building? Great. So you know that there are computers there too. Then you go somewhere else. Maybe you go to the RGD. Who knows what RGD is? The Registrar General's Department, right? Or any office of the government. In those offices, in people's houses, people have computers and people have computer networks. That means they have computers talking to each other even within their offices. Now, when you put all those computers together, you across several kinds of links. Those links may be physical wire, they may be wireless, they may be VSAT, they may be all sorts of things. When you put them all together, you now create what you call the internet. So the internet is a network of what? Networks. And across that network, we can exchange information across the whole world. because the internet means that everybody that decides to connect is connecting to the network of networks of the whole world. That means a lot of information is passing from ICGC to RGD to EcoBank to America to Russia to China. Everywhere there's a lot of information passing all over. You can think of it like this: the internet is like the infrastructure. Who knows the meaning of infrastructure? Raise your hand. Who knows the meaning of infrastructure? Do you know that in your house you have pipes for water to flow through? Who knows that? Yeah, there are pipes. The pipes are the physical infrastructure. The water, you can think of the water as the information that passes through all those pipes and goes all around your house. When you open the tap, you see water coming out. So the pipes are the infrastructure that allow the water to go through. So the internet is the what? Infrastructure that allow all the information to go through from one computer to another across the whole wide world. All right. So if you look at my little picture, you see there are different kinds of people on the internet. There are churches like ICGC. Let me mark it for you. There are churches like ICGC. There are banks like EcoBank. There are news agencies like CNN. There are temples. I mean, everybody. So even so many different kinds of people on the internet. So the internet is a big place, and it's not only Christians that are on the internet. It's not only Muslims. There are different kinds of people. So that's why when you're on the internet, you actually have to be careful too. So what is the World Wide Web? So since we talked about the fact that the internet is like the infrastructure, the foundation on which everything runs, the World Wide Web is like a whole entire system that sits on top of the internet that allows us to exchange information on the internet. So it's a global system. It allows us access information on the internet. It was invented by a man called Tim Berners-Lee. What did he really invent? He basically invented a way for us to access information. So when you type www on your browser, you are actually calling the World Wide Web. You are putting what you call a uniform resource locator. I'll explain it later. Okay, so people have, remember I said that we have computers in EcoBank, we have computers in ICGC, we have computers in RGD, we have computers everywhere, and all those computers have their information stored in them. So we have different kinds of files in them. Any file that you want people to be able to access on your computer, you have to write a language around it so that people who want to access it will be able to get it. That language is called hypertext markup language. Maybe some of you have heard of HTML before. Who has heard of HTML? HTML? You've not heard of it? Okay, so that is a language that you have to use to write something called a web page. Who has seen a website before? Who has seen a website? Wave your hand. Has anybody seen a website before? Just wave your hand. Has anybody seen a web page before, a website? You've gone to ICGC website or YouTube or Facebook. All those are websites. So for you to have information on the internet, you have to present it in a language that tools that access the internet can, pick up those files. All right. And you have some basic protocols. Remember what I said a protocol is? We have how we agree to communicate. That protocol that are used on the internet: hypertext transfer protocol and internet protocol. You see, how many of you have seen HTTP anywhere before? Okay, I'll show you very, very shortly. So let's look at some questions. Now, who can tell me what a web browser is? Who can tell me? Who has seen this before? Who can tell me what this is? Who knows what this is? You can speak. You can unmute yourself and speak. This is called, what is it called? Google Chrome. Can you see that? When you want to browse on the internet, one of the things or tools you use to browse is called Google Chrome. Google Chrome is a web browser. There are other web browsers like this one. This one is called Microsoft Edge, right? So these are tools that help you to access information on the internet. When you need to access information on the internet, you typically will type www, which is what? World Wide Web. Then you type the address of the where you want to get that information from, right? So when you say www.centralgospel.com, you are typing URL. A URL is also called a uniform resource locator or an address. It tells the browser where to go to look for that information. The URL or the web address tells the browser, which is this software that I'm using is the browser or the web browser, where to go to get the information. So we have several kinds of web browsers. Now notice something about my Notice something about my the website I have just typed, right? What website is this? Who can tell me? Who can tell me what this website is? Can you hear me? You can unmute and speak, or you type it in the chat. Hello? Alright, this website is called centralgospel.com, and look at the structure of the address. You can tell me what you notice about the address. Let me, Asada, can you tell me? Tell me one of the things you notice about the web address. Oh no, just look at this part. Look at this part. What does it start with? It starts with what? HTTPS, right? And then it continues with a code / www. Did you hear me speak about HTTP before? Did I speak about HTTP before? Early when I started. Great. Okay, now I'm going to ask. Let me ask Beryl. Tell me what I said HTTP means. Beryl. Daniel, you want to try? Coco, you want to try? What did I say HTTP means? Okay, I said HTTP means Hypertext Transfer Protocol, and then you have an S. The S means secure. So every time you go to the internet, you must make sure that the website you're going to has the S and has the padlock, because that means it is a secure site. That means it's a safe site. So HTTPS means Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. So it tells the browser, remember the browser is the software you're using. This browser is called Google Chrome. It's the software you're using to access the internet. Where you are telling the browser, look, for you to go to this site, I want you to use this protocol, because there are other protocols the browser can use. There's file transfer protocol, etc., many other protocols. But you're telling the browser, for you to get to this website, I want you to use Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. And then you now provide the URL, the address, the website address, www.worldwidewebcentralgospel.com. And you see it's a .com. There are many different kinds of sites. Some are .orgs, .com, commercial, .org for organization, .edu for education, etc., etc. So you are telling the browser, go to this URL and then use this protocol and get me the information from there. Right, so let's move on a bit. So have you seen the expression HTTP anywhere before? Before now, how many of you have seen this HTTP anywhere? Amos, have you seen it before? Amos, are you there? I hope everyone is paying attention. Dorinda, are you there? Have you seen HTTP before? If you need to speak, you just unmute yourself quickly and speak. Just click on mute. Kwama Safo, can you hear me? So you've seen it before. So do you know what it means now? What does it mean? Tell me what it means. Tell me what it means. You don't remember? I said it means Hypertext Transfer Protocol. So it is, okay, I'm repeating it. It means Hypertext Transfer Protocol. So the keyword protocol, that means computers have to agree how they are going to speak to each other. So what they use to agree is those protocols. It's just like when you can mute yourself if you're not speaking now. Just like when Madonna started, we agreed on how we are going to communicate in this class. We said if you're not speaking, mute yourself. We said if you need to speak, raise your hand. Those are protocols. So the computers also have protocols, and there are many of them. The major one that we use for the browser to interact with a website is called Hypertext Transfer Protocol. And we said that for you, whenever you open a browser, a website, make sure it doesn't just have the HTTP. It should have X, which is for secure. That means it's a safe site or a secure site. Is that okay? So we have also seen www. What did I say www means? Brilliant, you got that one. So the World Wide Web is a whole system that is sitting on top of the internet. And I said the internet is the infrastructure. The World Wide Web is the body of knowledge that is sitting on top of the world, on top of the internet. So when you do www, you are simply typing what you call an address or a URL, a uniform resource locator, to find what you need to find on the internet. That's why it's called an address. You want to know where that stuff is. Okay, so let's move on a bit quick. All right, so these are what you see here is a large number of web browsers. Wow, I think there are like 32 here. This 5 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. There are 35 on this board. That means there are so many different kinds of web browsers. Who can tell me anyone you know about? Who knows any web browser? I mentioned already. Google Chrome, brilliant. So most of the people have Google, and also no, Facebook is not a browser. Facebook is social media. So I'll tell you about Facebook later. So Facebook is social media. You use a web browser to open Facebook because Facebook is a website, is a social media platform. So you use the web browser is installed on your computer. It is a software that you use to access the internet. So you have things like Google Chrome, you have Internet Explorer, you have Well, Windows is no, Amazon is a website. Amazon is a website. You use Amazon. Okay, let me go back to my example. You see all the, when you go to Amazon, what are you doing? Can you see what I've opened? You see, I've not typed anything, right? I've not typed anything, but you can see this software. This software is called Google Chrome, and it is a browser. If I go here to, if I open my other web browser, this is another web browser called Microsoft Edge. You see, I've not typed anything, but here I can type anything. I can type amazon.com and I'll go to Amazon, right? See, if I type facebook.com, I'll go to Facebook, right? Okay. If I type which other one, cn.com, I'm using this same web browser to go to any website I want. So the tool that I'm using to go to the website is called my web browser, right? Okay, you got that, right? You get that now, right? So it is the tool. It's like, let me give you an example. My phone is a tool, right? I can use it to call anybody I want, right? So all I have to do is dial the number of the person. So the phone itself is the tool or the facility which I use to dial the number. The browser is the facility which I use to dial or to type the URL or the web address in order to get to the website that I want to get to. I hope that is clearer now. Okay, so everything you want to find on the internet is you can call it a resource, and it's typically you can access that resource using what you call a URL or uniform resource locator. URL is also called a address, right? Everything we've been typing, www, they are all web addresses, and we type them inside our web browser for us to be able to open what we want to open. So let's do some exercises. Tell me some of the URLs you are familiar with. Now, some people already mentioned it, so give me one. Someone already said the answers before I asked the question. Facebook.com is a URL, right? Which other one? Somebody mentioned another one. CNN, great. CNN.com, we opened it too. Which other one? Oh, somebody is not muted. Somebody is not following the protocol. So if you're not speaking, please mute yourself, or if your background is too noisy. Amazon.com, which other one? One more, then we continue. YouTube.com, great. That's a good one too. So I'll show you some things about YouTube as we go along. Okay. All right. So what happens when you type a URL in your browser? We have seen that. Well, what happens is you the website that URL refers to. That URL is an address. So it's taking you somewhere. You open that place. Now what we asked ourselves, what hello? Okay, yeah, I think that it probably goes up and down, but I think it's better now, right? Is it better now? Yeah, if maybe the signal is not strong enough, but I mean, we have to how do I put it? We have to try to work with that for now. Let me see. I think I'll put my video. All right. You can still see my screen, right? Okay, so we asked ourselves, what are the first 4 or 5 letters before the colon? We talked about HTTP and HTTPS. And which one should I say you should always use? Who can answer? Ira Ajwa. Which one should you always use between HTTP and HTTPS? David, you have the answer. Who has the answer? I said you should always use H. Oh, okay, tell me. Oh, Kwame, please go ahead. Sorry. Beautiful. And the S stands for what? Secure. Yeah, good. Casimir, well done. So the S stands for secure. So anytime you open a website, make sure you see the S because it stands for secure. It means you're going to a safe website. So that was the last question on that. All right, so let's go to our next item, which is search engines, right? Search engines. A search engines help you to find something that you are looking for that you don't know exactly what it is, but you need to find it. Let me give you some examples. When we talked about the URLs we know, we was mentioning things we already know, like facebook.com, amazon.com, etc. Supposing we don't know something, right? Supposing we don't know something, we need to find it. Somebody is unmuted, he's not following the protocol. Okay, supposing we don't know something. Let's say you are from Afghanistan and you don't know who Mensa Otabil is and you want to find out. You can actually find out you can try it out on your web browser as we are speaking. You can say, okay, I want to know Mensa Otabil. So when you do that, Google, the most popular search engine we have, will give you a lot of information about Mensa Otabil. How did this information get here? People have been putting a lot of information on their own computers, on their websites. And remember we said the internet is a combination of all these different networks, and the World Wide Web, that system allows us to access the information on people's computers all over the world. So the search engine will go to all these different computers and pull up the information about Mensa Otabil, and we can see some are coming from wikipedia.org, some are coming from facebook.com, some are coming from amazon.com, from Instagram, MyJoy Online, a lot of them. And how many are they? How much information came out? Can you see? Who can tell me the amount? How many results came? John, can you tell me? Tell me. $370. Yeah. 1,370,000 results. So if we want to check all of these, there are a lot of them. That means you can see that the internet is a very big place. You can find almost anything you want. So we only search for Mensa Otabil. Let's search for, okay, let me see Mensa Otabil. Watch something I'm going to do now. Let's say I want Mensa Otabil. What do you notice about the number of results? What's the number of results now? Uku, can you see? 79. Because by putting the quotes, I am telling Google that I want to find only Mensa Otabil that came together like this. Sorry, this was wrong. Yes, this is 842,000. I'm telling the browser that I want to find only Mensa Otabil as it is, right? But look at as it is. That means I want to find this exact expression. And you see, wherever it shows me, it's where it's together. Mensa Otabil together, right? Mensa Otabil together. Mensa Otabil together. But if I remove the quote, I'm asking the browser to give me other possible suggestions. This is Mensa Otabil together, but you can have cases where Mensa is alone and Otabil is different, etc. You can have pictures of other people that tagged Mensa Otabil. That's why the results are more when you leave it open. But when you want to narrow down to a specific thing, you have to say, I want Mensa Otabil in quotes. The same thing with, let's say, search for children in Uganda. Let's say we want to know something about children in Uganda. This gives me about 5 million results because I'm searching for exactly children in Rwanda. If I open it up and I want to just search for related information, I get a lot more, 252 million results, and I have to search through that. I hope you understand the difference, right? There are other things you can do with Google. You can determine, okay, you don't understand. Okay, let me do it again. Now, let's start again. How many results did I get with these children in Uganda? But tell me what to search for. Okay. Tell me something you want to search. 252 what? No, this is not thousand, this is million. Yeah. You can't see the screen well. Who else can see the screen? Can anyone see the screen? Okay, great. So maybe your network is a little low. Okay, right now, those who are not speaking, you can mute yourself again. You can mute yourself again so we can all hear. So if you're not seeing well, just give it a little time. Sometimes the network fluctuates. All right. Okay, so what I'm saying is, let me give another example. Let's say I want to search for Kenneth. I can search for Kenneth and it will give me Kenneth Kaunda, Kenneth Oloriburuku, Kenneth Kwame, Kenneth Kofi, Kenneth Sherry, Kenneth Nana, so many Kenneths, right? If I search for Kenneth, like alone. But if I want to search for exactly Kenneth Igiri, right? To give me information about only Kenneth Igiri, few results, right? So it's a specific search. I'm being specific in my search. If I just say Kenneth Igiri without being specific with the quotes, what happens is it gives me a lot more Kenneths and I get more results. Do you understand now? So if you want to be more specific, whatever you're searching for, you put it in a quote. Okay. All right. Now, Google is not the only search engine. There are many other search engines, many of them. There's one called Giburu.com. Let's say I want to, remember, Giburu is another search engine. Let's search for men's interview. Alright, so it will give me similar results from everywhere. So the search engines work in a similar way. They go to all the people's computers, all the people's networks, and retrieve the information and display it to you. You now decide which one is relevant for what you're looking for. You can use this to search for things in school. For example, if you're on a computer now, let's say you have a word you don't know, there's a word you don't know. Let's say I say a word like hypothalamus of the brain, right? If you don't know that word, what do? You have to go to a search engine and search for what? Hypothalamus of the brain, right? Of course, you have to know the spelling. And it gives you some information about what? Hypothalamus. The hypothalamus is a small but crucial part of the brain. It controls several important functions, including sleep and growth, right? Did you see that? So almost anything you don't know, you can search for it using a search engine like Google or Giburu or Bing or Swiss Cows. There are many of them, but anything you don't know, you can also search for it on the internet, right? I hope you get that. So when anything reading about you don't know, you can search for it using a search engine. We're losing time, so we have to go a little faster. So these are some of the useful websites that you can go to find out about things. Quora.org is a place where people ask questions. Wikipedia is like an online encyclopedia. Scholar.google.com, it tells you about academic works that people have done. It's like Google, but it's focused on academic work. Dictionary.com, you can find the definition of almost any word, and it's real time, it's updating all the time. CNN.com is a news website. Kids.nationalgeographic.com is about animals, wildlife. So there are websites like this that are useful for you to get more information about these specific things and learn more. All right. So somebody mentioned Facebook before. These are some of the social media platforms. Some of them, all people do there is have fun. Some of them are educative, like academia.com. Some of them are for people who are working, like LinkedIn.com. Some of them are for videos. Somebody mentioned YouTube earlier, and we'll show you some things about YouTube. A lot of these social media platforms, they will, when you go there, they will always suggest things for you to see. But you have, like what? YouTube, yes. Like Google is a search engine, remember. YouTube is a social media platform. YouTube, remember that. Okay, so Twitter is also a social media platform, yes. And Instagram. And Wikipedia is a regular website, but it's focused on articles, educative articles, so it's a useful site. All right, let's go on with this. The social media platform will always show you something. They will advertise something for you to see. Sometimes what they advertise to you is based on who you are, what you have browsed before, and so on and so forth. So you have to be careful what you're watching. When you don't want to watch something, you have to say, I don't want it. Like this one, you can say, not interested, right? When you say not interested, the intelligence in the social media network will stop showing you things like that. So you don't want to see some things, so it stops showing you. Now, this is one of my profiles. Another profile, if I switch a profile now, what will happen? It will show me a different set of things, right? To show me a different set of things, and I have to say, oh, this one not interested, right? I have to decide what I'm interested in and what I'm not interested in. So you always can you do away with things that are not helpful. Hello, Jerome, you can mute yourself. Just listen to me for some time, and we can ask. So you always exclude things that are not helpful when you are browsing, and look for safe websites, educative websites, and useful. Hello? Can you hear me now? Is it better? All right. So I said that you should always exclude or do away with things that are not helpful when you're on the internet. The things that look bad, like pornographic things, people not dressing up properly, people shooting each other, that are not helpful for you. You do away with them. Just say not interested. You should never like them. Don't like them. Don't follow them. Don't comment on them. Don't share them. When you do any of these things, like liking a post or commenting or sharing, then the social media platform will now start showing you even more of those things. So you have to determine what you want to watch and what you don't want to watch. Okay, so the internet is a very big place, and people are just putting things there anyhow. The way if you know an address, you access it by using the URL, the website address. If you don't know, you can search for it with a search engine, right? So, but you have to be careful what you're searching for, and don't interact with strangers. Don't click unfamiliar or unsecure links. Unsecure links are those that don't have the S in the HTTP, and don't also spend all your time browsing. Okay, so I'll now take a few questions. If you have any question about it, you can please ask, raise your hands, we ask, and then we can answer the questions. Okay, sometimes that happens if you are not actually logged in to your account. Maybe you're not logged in, so the algorithm, the social media. Okay, okay, can see what I said? Sometimes, let me go back to that video. Can see why he's saying that sometimes when she clicks this not interested, let me not click not interested on this. Let's say on, let me look for one and click not interested on building blocks of nationhood. Okay, when you say not interested on this, that can see why I'm saying that sometimes it comes back. You just have to, you may have to do it again, or you may have to say why I don't like the video, for example, right? And submit. Because when you do that more than once, twice, thrice, the algorithms, the intelligence that shows you those kind of stuff will realize that you don't like this kind of stuff, and eventually to stop showing them to you. Okay. No, it's when it's all, if it's not, when it says big, what do you mean by big? Like which one? Give me an example. Yeah, most known websites, they have the HTTPS. Sorry? No, don't go to dark web when you're going to download the pirated videos. Try to avoid things that are not legal. When you go to dark web and places where you watch pirated videos, it's dangerous. They can put viruses in your computer because it's easy to hide viruses inside pictures or videos. So you avoid things that make you do something that is wrong. Downloading videos that don't belong to you are actually wrong. So you don't go to those kind of places. You expose yourself and you do the wrong thing. Okay. So back to the question, most reputable web. If you see CNN, you may not. CNN. Most reputable websites, that's websites that are nice, that are safe, they have the padlock and they have the HTTPS, right? Sometimes the browser may not show it easily to you until you click there. So you see that it always has the HTTPS and the secure padlock. So you need to look out for that. Don't go to places where it's not secure, because even the owners of the website want to be protected. So they will always make sure that their site is secure if they are good people, if they are reputable. Okay. You have to unmute. Oh, web browser is a normal statement. Okay, yeah, it is basically a software that allows you to open web pages, just like Chrome or Microsoft Edge or Safari if you're using Apple, etc. And I gave an illustration. I said the same way you have a phone. With that phone, you can call many different numbers. With the web browser, you can open many different websites. This is my web browser. I can open YouTube here, open CNN here. I can also open another one, Facebook, etc. So this web browser is called what? It's called Google Chrome. There are many other types that allow you. There are some on your phone and some on your computer. that allow you to open web pages. That's basically what a web browser is. And I also mentioned www, which means what? World Wide Web. Great. You're welcome.